Hey everyone. My name is Hamza, and I want to start this presentation by being honest with you about something. When I first started this course, I thought communication was just something people either had or didn't. What I didn't realize was that it can actually be learned, practiced, and improved. The two concepts I'm going to talk about today are the ones that genuinely changed how I interact with people, both in university and outside it. The first is emotional intelligence. The second is interpersonal communication. I chose these not because they sounded impressive, but because I've actually had to use them, and I've seen what happens when they're present and when they're not. Let's start with emotional intelligence, or EI. At its core, EI is about understanding emotions, your own and other people's, and using that understanding to guide how you think and act. Goleman broke it down into 5 components: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Now, that might sound straightforward on paper. But let me give you an example of what it actually looks like in practice. Earlier this semester I was in a group project situation where things started going sideways. Not because anyone was being difficult on purpose, but because everyone was stressed, the deadline was close, and no one was saying what they actually felt. People were giving short answers, going quiet in group chats, showing up to meetings distracted. What I eventually realized was that the emotional climate of the group had shifted, and nobody had named it. That's exactly what low EI looks like in a team setting. What changed things was when someone just stopped the meeting and asked how everyone was actually doing. That one moment of emotional honesty reset the whole dynamic. We were more productive in the 30 minutes after that than we had been in the previous 2 hours. That's what EI does. It doesn't make things easier by removing difficulty. It makes things easier by giving you the awareness to deal with difficulty without making it worse. Going forward, I want to bring this into my internship, where I work with people who come from very different professional and cultural backgrounds. In those environments, emotional awareness isn't just helpful, it's necessary. You can't always rely on people saying directly what they mean. You have to be able to read the room. The second concept is interpersonal communication. And I know that sounds like a broad topic, but the part that hit me hardest was active listening. Before this course, I genuinely thought I was a good listener. I let people finish their sentences. I looked at them when they spoke. I thought that was listening. But what I learned is that listening and active listening are not the same thing. Active listening means you're not just hearing the words, you're tracking the meaning, the emotion behind it, and you're giving the person signals that you're actually present. There was a moment this semester where I was in a conversation with a friend who was clearly struggling with something. I kept responding with solutions. You should do this, have you tried that? And they just kind of shut down. I thought I was being helpful. What I was actually doing was skipping past what they needed, which was just to be heard. That realization was uncomfortable, honestly. But it was useful. Since then I've noticed a real difference in my conversations when I actually slow down and focus on understanding before I respond. In a professional context, this matters enormously. If people don't feel heard, they stop sharing. And when people stop sharing in a team, you start losing information, ideas, and trust. So to bring this together, emotional intelligence and interpersonal communication are deeply connected. You can't really have one without the other. EI gives you the awareness to understand what's happening beneath the surface of a conversation. Interpersonal communication gives you the tools to actually do something about it. I came into this course thinking I'd learn some theory. What I actually got was a different way of paying attention to people. And I think that's going to stick with me a lot longer than any exam answer will. Thanks for watching.